So in this video, I'm going to go over how to make a decision quickly. Often when we're making decisions, we have either not enough information or the information is ambiguous. So I want to really go through some strategies and some ways to look at decision making that can help us really make that decision early on to capitalize on the decision making process. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got how much impact, this is impact, will a decision make across time. So this is impact and time, right? So let's say I make my decision here at this point in time, then it's going to be a large impact, and the outcome is going to be have that impact. And so, but as time progresses, we gain more knowledge to inform our decision making. But as time progresses, the impact of a decision made at a later time won't be as strong. For example, if I was going to start YouTube in 2008, the impact would have been much greater because I would have been able to capitalize on the momentum of the growth of YouTube, as opposed to me starting now, which I am, 2016. The impact is less because people are already popular on YouTube and people have already ridden that wave. So, but now we have more knowledge. We know what YouTube is, we know how its function and how it serves humanity, whereas in 2008 you could only really guess kind of what it was going to become. So that's an example right there on why it's important to make a decision early on. Now that won't always be the case, but a lot of the time it is important to capitalize on something as it pops up, as it comes into your knowledge. So you'll want to be capitalizing on opportunities all the time so you can actually benefit from them. And a lot of the time you have to make a decision early. So that's kind of why you would want to make a decision quickly. Okay, so let's get into some of the things you can do to actually go through to make a decision quite quickly. And when I say quickly, I don't mean instantly. I mean, it does depend on the magnitude of the decision. If the decision is a very low task decision, like why should I eat pizza or should I eat a hot dog? I mean, that doesn't really matter. We're talking about important decisions that you have a little bit of time to make a decision, but you don't have that much time. You can't prolong it for a long period of time. And the tricky thing about that is choosing not to make a decision is a decision in itself. So if you choose not to make a decision, you're choosing to prolong whatever choice you need to make and whatever actions you would take after that choice is made into the future. And so that will have consequences. You'll suffer consequences from that. So what we really want to do is we want to capitalize on being able to make a decision quickly, whether it's yes, we want to do it, or no, we don't want to do it. We want to know that early on so we can either capitalize on it or we could shrug it off and go and find a better opportunity because we've only got so much time in our life. So what I want to go through is some key points that will help you, and the first thing is values. So values, your values. The values you have are going to help you and guide you to make decisions. Now I'm not going to hash that out heaps because I've got a lot of other videos on values, but basically if you know, for example, that like for some reason someone presents to you, hey, let's have an orgy, and you're like, no, I don't really value having sex with multiple people. That's not a part of really morally what I want to do. And so you make the decision like that. Now that's easy to kind of understand in the moral realm, you know, how we can make a decision quickly because of our values, but it also applies to the workplace. For example, if you value time with your kids more than you value a big paycheck, you might not want to take that promotion that is offered to you. So you can make the decision pretty quickly because you know deep down inside, this is my core value right now. This is my priority in my life. I care about my children a lot more, and I know 100% that this job is going to take all my time with my children away from me. That right there, that helps you make that decision. It's clear, it's simple, and that's predicated on the assumption that you know what your values are. So go watch some other videos that I have about those values. But if you know your values, you can make those decisions easier. Maybe you value, creativity and creative work more than you value some other type of work. So you won't pursue a certain opportunity that comes up. Maybe a business deal comes up and someone says, hey, this is awesome business. And you can see, oh yeah, it is an awesome business, but deep down inside, you don't really value that type of thing. You value more creativity and stuff like that. And so you might reject that business idea, even though it was really good, but it wasn't good for you because it didn't suit who you were. So that's the first thing, values. Values are going to help you to really make that decision early on, to either capitalize on the decision or to say, hey, now I want to pass by this decision, this project quickly. I'm going to make a decision early and I'm going to move on and use my time for things that I really do value and care about. So that's number one. And so the second thing you'd want to do is you'd want to gain more knowledge. You want to gain more knowledge. Now, you don't have that much time, so you can't sit around, waiting for, the knowledge to accumulate. But let's just look at it like this. Ready? So let's just say this is G. G for the general knowledge of the population. So if this is G, if this is the general knowledge of the population, you want to gain more knowledge quickly so that you've got a little bit more knowledge so you can make this decision more confidently. You want to be confident in that decision. So you might go away and do some specialist research. You might go away and start researching things, and you can come back and say, hey, I've done my research that the general population doesn't know about. And I actually know that I have a larger percentage of confidence that this decision will be good for me. So that's the second thing, is try to gain more knowledge and basically bridge that gap between knowledge and impact. And so if you don't have enough time, or if you can't really gain the access to that knowledge, you could pay someone. That's a $ there. You could pay someone to gain access to knowledge. And then if you get access to that knowledge, then that then again bridges the gap between your knowledge and the impact that decision is going to have on you if you make that decision earlier. So you have the knowledge, you have more confidence now because of that knowledge that this is the right decision to make, and then you make that decision and you gain and capitalize off the impact that making that decision early gives you, right? So that's that. So the third thing would be, I'll switch pens here, what we call being prepared to take the loss, being prepared to take the hit. So if you can't gain access to the knowledge and it fits within your values but you're still not sure about it, then it's like, okay, if this is only going to cost you $1,000, for example, and you're willing to lose that $1,000, and with your current limited amount of knowledge you think, yeah, it might be a good investment, then you can just go ahead and make that decision anyway, and knowing that, okay, I'm prepared to lose that $1,000. It doesn't matter if I lose that $1,000 because it's not that much of a big deal. So that's what that's about. It's about taking the loss. So I'll just put loss there. You know the loss ahead of time and you're prepared to really make that loss if it comes down to it. And that helps you make the decision quickly because you go, okay, I don't want this decision on my chest. I'm prepared to lose $1,000. I'll invest it and that's it. But keep in mind, that's predicated on the assumption that you can calculate what the loss is going to be. So if you can't calculate what the loss is going to be, then be wary of that. But a lot of the time you'll be able to estimate it. Now, the last thing I want to say is that if you have gone through this whole list, you've gone through counting the loss, you've gone through trying to bridge the gap through gaining more knowledge or paying for knowledge, and you've gone through your values that you hold, and you still can't make that decision, you basically have as much knowledge as you can on this decision that you want to make. and you still can't make it, it's most likely you're held back by doubt, fear, or anxiety, or all three of them. And the problem is when you have that, it cripples you from even making any kind of decision. And then what that's going to do is, no matter how much knowledge you have, you're going to be crippled and you can't even make a decision because fear is holding you back. And eventually you'll be forced to make a decision because you've already made a decision not to make a decision. And then eventually, you'll be forced to make a decision that's a lot worse than what you originally wanted to if you're holding on for a long time. Because opportunities will pass by. Time will take away opportunities. There's only certain amount of time that you have in your life. And that's the biggest regret, is a lot of people say, I'd rather regret the things I had done than the things I had not done. And that's the big thing. So if doubt or fear is holding you back, you have to realize that and say, hey, no, I can't let this hold me back any longer. It's important that I make a decision early. And sometimes making a decision hurts. Sometimes it's painful. But you have to realize in your own awareness that I might have to just take this pain. I might have to suffer whatever consequences it takes in making this decision, because it might be that I will suffer more consequences if I don't make this decision early on. So that's really what I want to say, and I want to encourage you, if you are struggling with doubt, if you are struggling with these sort of issues, then subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be releasing some more stuff on, kind of how to gain that confidence in your life, how to gain that big set of balls that helps you make decisions, that big set of confidence building persona that really pushes you forward to break out of all these limitations and break out of all the self-talk, the doubt of people saying this and people saying that, and getting distracted in life. If you subscribe to my channel, I'm going to be releasing more videos like that to encourage you to break through all the mess, all the distraction, to get you clearly thinking about where you want to go, what you want to do. And so I hope that this has helped you to make decisions a little quicker, and really nail down that decision-making process. And even just looking at it like this can motivate you. Even just looking at, okay, what's the outcome going to be if I make the decision in a year rather than making it now? That can motivate you straight up. So I hope that this has helped you in some small way. If you've got any other suggestions that you'd like to add, then feel free to put it in the comments. I'm sure other viewers would appreciate that. And I hope to see you in the next one.